Good Saturday evening, everybody. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful start to your weekend. I guess it's kind of middle of the weekend. But anyway, I have a good one for you today. It seems like Pierre Poilievre's doing his rounds around Canada. I believe he was in London, Ontario, and making comments on Justin Trudeau's wacko crime system that he's being put into Canadian law. So a lot of his catch and release reforms have not done so well over the years, and I'm gonna let Pierre Poilievre go through it because he says it best. Let's get into it.
Broadfoot, a 17-year-old beautiful girl from London, killed by someone who had already been arrested, but for reasons I don't understand, was released to carry out domestic violence on her again. She is just the latest victim of the radical NDP wacko catch and release justice system, or I should say injustice system. It allows the same repeat violent offenders to go free again and again. Justin Trudeau and the NDP told you all that it would work, that all the so-called experts agreed that freeing criminals onto the street 50, 60, 70 times within hours of their latest arrest would somehow make us all safer. Most Canadians thought it was wacko, and they were right. Today, the data is out from Stats Canada. Data released moments ago show that violent crime is up 50% after 9 years of Trudeau and the NDP Liberals. Homicides up 28%. Sexual assaults 75% higher. Violent firearm offenses up 116%, more than double. Extortion up 357% as small business owners get letters telling them that if they don't pay $1 million, there'll be a bullet flying through their 6-year-old daughter or son's bedroom window in the middle of the night. That's what's happening on our streets. Auto theft up 46%. This is the direct result of NDP Liberal catch and release policies that turn the same repeat offenders loose on our streets again and again and again. Just last week, we saw a story of 18 offenders charged with 150 crimes. 9 of them were already out on some sort of early release, and since their arrest, 6 of them have been released again. And what do you know? They're out doing more and more crime. A very tiny group of criminals doing all the crime. Even the Justice Minister has had his car stolen 3 times. Incredible. You'd think the criminals would be somewhat grateful that he keeps releasing them. But no, they steal his car too, and he is too dense to figure out that they should be locked up. This is the same guy who said that crime wasn't rising, it was just a perception. He said that Canadians were just believing crazy conspiracy theories about crime, and that the smart people who stare at screens and look at spreadsheets knew better. Well, now the spreadsheets are out, and they confirm that catch and release, wacko NDP Liberal policies have caused one of the worst crime waves in Canadian history. Look.
So what I think he's talking about here, through bills and all that, through that sort of lens, is there was a bill that amended the criminal code in the early years of Justin Trudeau's reign, and what it said was that a lot of these hardcore criminals would go into rehabilitation centers and not just rot in jail for what they've done. And it's not like the criminals who've done, has only stolen, has only it's not petty crime. These people have been doing egregious things. There was a famous one, a murderer who this is why I opened up a local okay, I can't say that word. A person who ends other people. He went to jail for a long, long time, and I think this happened in Newfoundland. And he was in maximum prison. And then when Trudeau got in, he was put into minimum security prison. So because of Trudeau's reforms, and a lot of these petty crimes. Sorry, I'm trying to edit my words for YouTube. Are they're catching and releasing them, so they're only staying in jail for like a little while, and they let them right out. So especially with Toronto's and I think Montreal's defund the police thing that went through, yeah, that definitely didn't help. The other thing is Bill C-75, which I quickly looked into. So this is an amendment to the Criminal Code, the Youth Criminal Justice Act, aimed to reduce delays. So they implemented this. I'm not quite sure if this is still in the House or not, but apparently the bill aims to modernize bail. The bill modernizes and clarifies bail provisions, provides an enhanced approach to administration of justice offenses, including youth, restricts the availability of preliminary inquiries. So that's no good. And it addresses concern related to remand and overrepresentation of Indigenous persons and vulnerable groups who traditionally face challenges in obtaining bail. Well, we all know what that means. It's going to favor some people, but not favor others. Classification of offenses. It streamlines the classifications. It expands its judicial case management powers, and aims to improve efficiency and clarity. It aims to enhance measures to respond to intimate partner violence and protecting victims, ensuring more effective legal response. So, who knows if this is actually helping? I think Bill C-75 is still in the House. I'm not quite sure. But we're seeing right now with Trudeau's other bills that he's put through amending the criminal code that it hasn't worked. He does not have a good track record of keeping us safe.
Look at the firearms issue. Remember they told us if they banned hunters and sport shooters who are licensed, law-abiding, trained, and tested, that those people that all of a sudden we wouldn't have gun crime? Well, here we are, more crime. Why? It turns out that hunters are not the problem, nor are licensed sport shooters. They've already been trained and tested. They've had all of their backgrounds checked, and they're daily checked on the police database system. Right? Those people don't commit crime. I want to protect Canadians from criminals, while Trudeau and the NDP want to protect turkeys from hunters. You decide which makes more sense to you. We see the chaos here in London with tent cities popping up everywhere. Now, this is obviously partly the result of the NDP Liberals doubling your housing costs, but also they're giving out drugs, taxpayer-funded opioids that are ending up in the hands of kids, despite the lies of those who are in the system who are profiting from it, are making the drug problem even worse. And now we learn that the NDP Liberal government had a secret document planning national decriminalization. They tried to keep it under wraps until after the next election, hoping Canadians would not find out. But Blacklock's reporter got their hands on the document, and it showed a secret scheme to legalize crack, heroin, cocaine, and other hard drugs, which, if Trudeau and the NDP are reelected, will be as easy to get in your neighborhood as a candy bar at a corner store. This is reality, my friends.
Man, I can't believe that's true. I'm going to have to look that up, because that's crazy that the government... You'd think that'd be crazy that the government would decriminalize these hard bad substances, but of course, yeah. Who knows what this government's thinking right now. The cities that implemented the safe supply stuff, they're trying to backtrack on it now and recriminalize them, but the Trudeau government won't do that. They won't recriminalize it, and you're just seeing what it's doing to those cities, mainly Vancouver and Toronto. And yeah, from what Pierre Poilievre is saying about the the Firearms Act, the one where they're asking for people to buy them back or whatever. Yeah, it's not the people who legally own firearms that are the problem. These people get their criminal record and background checks every single day by the RCMP. I know a couple of people who have firearms, and it's these homeless encampments that when they're raided, you see that they have a massive amounts of like swords and guns. The guns that they have are crazy. And those are the ones that are illegal, and they're hurting people. Those are the kind of weapons that the government needs to be cracking down on.
After 9 years of Trudeau and the NDP Liberals, everything is broken. Canadians are broke, and NDP Liberals are not worth the crime, chaos, cost, and corruption. Speaking of costs, we see that our economy is collapsing. The Bank of Canada is forced to try and come to the rescue as the bank governor sees our economy shrinking faster than any other G7 country. We have the worst economy in the OECD. We're hemorrhaging jobs, all while inflation is once again rising. Trudeau and the NDP have doubled our national debt, and now they plan to quadruple the carbon tax, hiking the cost of gas 61 cents a litre, which will raise the cost of food, of heat, of gas, of everything that Canadians buy. This is a radical, wacko scheme that Canadians cannot afford, and we are seeing it metastasize onto our streets everywhere. Fortunately, common sense conservatives will bring home the country we knew and still love. We will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. Axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. We'll axe the carbon tax to bring down gas, heat, and grocery bills. We will build the homes by requiring municipalities speed up permits, free up land, and cut development taxes to build 15% more homes per year as a condition of getting federal funds. We'll cap spending and cut waste to fix the budget and bring down interest rates and inflation, and we will stop the crime. With jail, not bail.
And you think that would be normal? You think that'd be like common sense to do all of these things for a government? To open up more federal land, to build more homes for people who don't have them. Yeah, he doesn't really talk about lowering immigration, but he said that a lot. He's going to lower immigration back down to Stephen Harper era, so that's about 150,000 a year, so that'll help a lot with housing prices as well. And I like how he keeps saying the Liberal NDP government, because everybody needs to be reminded that it's not just the Liberals who are doing this, it's the NDP that are allowing the Liberal government to pass every law that they want, and that are allowing the Liberals to stay in power.
For repeat violent offenders who will no longer be eligible for bail, house arrest, probation, or parole. We will secure our borders with high-powered scanners that will ensure that shipping containers can no longer bring drugs and guns in and stolen cars out. And we will honor our law-abiding, licensed, trained, and tested firearms owners by protecting their ability to use their property instead of spending $7 billion to go hunt them down and take away what they have been using lawfully and legally. And finally, we will combat the drug crisis that Trudeau has unleashed. We will do away with taxpayer-funded hydromorphone and other hard drugs that the industry of active money-sucking activists, drug companies, bureaucrats, and hackademics. We will cut that back. There'll be no more money for any of them. All the money is going to go into treatment and recovery services, detox, counseling, group therapy, sweat lodges for First Nations, physical exercise, job placement, transitional housing. This is how we're going to bring our loved ones home drug-free. What I'm talking about, my friends, is common sense. The common sense of the common people united for our common home. Now let's bring it home.
The interesting thing, and the pretty cool thing, is that Alberta is already starting to implement the same substances policy that Pierre Poilievre is proposing. So by the time the Conservatives get in, which is going to be next year, we'll already have a pretty good layout, and the federal government can see if the way Alberta is handling the substance policy, then they can either follow the same route or they can pivot to see what we've done wrong. And that's how it's supposed to work. That's how it should work, is you look to other places that had a problem, look to how they fixed the problem, and then model your laws to do the exact same thing, or to do like similarly. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I got for you. I don't think we're gonna go through the question period for this. What do you think about the Conservative stance on Stop the Crime? Do you think it's the way to go? Do you think it's not the way to go? Have you had any issues with your community that you haven't seen before? Leave them down in the comments below. Really helps the channel. And if you like all of my videos, or just like this video, then if you could subscribe, that would be awesome. Also, I've opened up a locals account so I can start throwing a lot of unfiltered videos onto that. I bet you guys have probably been hearing a lot of gaps and stuff like that in my videos here, and that's because I'm having to think up different words to follow the YouTube algorithm. So luckily, now that I can post stuff on locals, there won't be any more of these gaps, or won't be anything. I can just talk along with the video and then have them edited for YouTube. Other than that, I'll leave a link to my locals below. Not too much is going to go on there. It's going to be similar to the YouTube stuff for right now, but as we get going, as I start thinking up things, it'll start changing, and it'll be a lot more fun than this channel. So anyways, that's all I got for you today. Have a good rest of your Saturday, and good night.